think we can go ahead and get started. Thank you guys. So again, thank you guys for joining us today. My name is Jim Coppinger with ZenTech Consultants, and I'm going to be your host today as we talk about Bluebeam Revu and Microsoft Excel and how they go together and what you can do with those. So for those of you who haven't worked with us before, we are ZenTech Consultants, and we are a premier Bluebeam partner, which means that we can provide software sales, upgrades, technical support, and training on Bluebeam Revu and all of its related products. We also develop and sell our own industry-specific tool chests, right, for different industries that you can kind of have loaded onto your people's workstations to kind of simplify the takeoff and estimating process with Bluebeam. And I always like to point out and keep in mind, you'll probably hear me mention this again at the end of the presentation today, that because we're a Bluebeam Premier partner, it gives us the ability to actually give a pretty good discount over Bluebeam direct sales prices. So when it comes time for you guys to think about upgrading your software or adding more seats or whatever it is you need to do, we hope you'll keep ZenTech in mind. We can almost always save you guys money over going directly to Bluebeam. So keep that in mind. So today we're here to talk about the latest features in the integration between Bluebeam Revu and Microsoft Excel, which is how most of us still in this day and age are working estimates. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm not in any way telling you shouldn't be doing that. I do it myself. It's actually a really good way to work. But the beauty is that in the extreme version of 2017, Bluebeam Revu added in this concept of dynamic linking, which allows you to actually have your Bluebeam takeoffs push their information directly into your Excel spreadsheets in real time. So that's kind of the main focus of today, but we're going to talk about all of the processes, a little bit of how you can work with your estimates, and particularly as it relates to Excel. Okay, so having said that, it's demo time. So the only thing I am going to say here is that I'm going to say escape on that and minimize this. Because I can only do a video screen share with you guys of one screen, what I've had to do here today is kind of half size both Excel and the Bluebeam Revu screen. So hopefully, I'll zoom in and out and you guys should be able to see what's going on. So like I said, the first thing we want to talk about here is the fact that most of us still work with Excel when we're dealing with our quantity takeoffs and our estimates. It's a really powerful tool. We're able to generate formulas and costing and do all kinds of really interesting things once we get comfortable with Excel. But what I see time and time again is I watch a lot of my clients when they first start working with us, and before I get a chance to train them and explain to them that there are better ways to do things, go in and do things like take off an office area. Okay, like you see here, I got carpet laid out here within this room. So they're just doing a takeoff, and they'll get that area and they'll read it and say, okay, that's 232 square feet. And then they will go over to their Excel spreadsheet and type in the 232 square feet and then do all their calculations. Right? And they'll go through every room manually typing it out and working like that. And that's the kind of thing that'll make you crazy, right? It takes way too much time, too much effort, and there's no kind of dynamic structure to it where you can update things. So when you're dealing with Bluebeam, there are really three distinct ways that you can work with your quantity takeoffs. So I'm just going to bring up the markups list down here on the bottom, just to talk about number one, an area that a lot of folks just don't realize they can work with is that you can actually generate and produce full-blown estimates right here in the markups list. All right, you can kind of see here that what I've done in this one, if you take a look, you can see that I've actually generated custom columns where I'm handling, waste percentage for installation, static cost of materials, total material costs, with waste and overall pricing. Right? So you can actually structure formulas making use of the areas, lengths, volumes, counts, linear measurements, whatever measurements you've put together and are working with inside your Bluebeam screen, you can actually generate those right down here in the markups list. And that's the kind of thing, if you guys are interested in that. Right? And these numbers do modify and update in real time, by the way. As I make changes to Bluebeam, these numbers and these values will change. So if you're interested in that, you're not sure how to do that, how to work with that, so that's something you can take a look at our website and some of our training classes. We can help you guys structure that. But that's not really what we're here to talk about today. Today, what we're going to talk about is the integration between this markups list and Excel. So what I do see a lot of people do, and it's a good thing, is that, a lot of folks know that once you've done your markups and you did your layout like I have here, I've got a couple of different rooms, keeping it pretty simple today, just showing some basic areas. But most folks do know that you can come over and say, okay, this is done. Now I can go ahead and export this out as a straight CSV summary, right? And I'm just gonna drop that on my desktop just for now, just to show you, right? So that it really just generates a basic, and here's that summary, right? It generates a basic CSV, just a standard Excel file. And you can see that really all it does is it takes whatever I have listed inside that markups list, and it just converts it over using the same, column and row structure that we normally see inside of an Excel file. And this is fine. This is a good starting place. But the difference is that you notice that like all the numbers, all the files, they're actually nothing more than just numbers, right? There's no formulas in here. There's no kind of dynamic interaction. So if I were to go back and make changes, okay, maybe we got an update, a revised file for our PDF, then I'd have to come in here and I'd need to delete this CSV file and generate an entirely new one. Okay, and any format or changes I made in there, I'd have to kind of rework. So that is a good way to work. It's not, a negative. And like I said, a lot of folks do work that way today, and it's a fair start point. But once you get into the 2017 Extreme version, you have the ability now to be able to go in and actively synchronize your Excel spreadsheet, right? You see I have my dynamic linking example spreadsheet, and you can dynamically link that right here to your Bluebeam Revu file. So what do I mean by that? So let's take a good look. So you see in here, I'm just going to zoom in here inside my PDF, okay? And you see that here I've got wood laminate, right? So I've got a wood laminate floor, and what I kind of have here is just a very simple, basic Excel spreadsheet. And you see that I've already got some quantities in here for the wood laminate in total, okay? So you see that, I've got a couple of different, I've got a couple of different rooms here with the wood laminate, right? So 2 yellow rooms with the cross hatching. That's where I'm putting wood laminate in this house. So what happens when we update this? Well, like I said, with both the other ones, it's a little bit of a manual process, but wouldn't it be nice if these numbers would just update in real time? Because you can see I've got total installation costs, material, waste, formulas, right? And these are actually all full-blown formulas, right? That are taking, all of this information and calculating and doing all of my actual cost estimating for me. Well, let's give you an idea what happens when you do what's called a dynamic link between Excel and Revu. So you notice if I just take this, and it's going to look a little weird. I'm just going to drag this up, right? And you see right now, if you guys watch over here, see this 274, right, for my square footage for the laminates. So if I just come in here and I just stretch this and I make this larger, you can see just like that in real time. If I decide I wanted to take this out, right, to cover, different areas, we're going to do it all the way up the stairs. Right, maybe I'm going to go in here and I'll add a control point just to kind of, start squaring this out a little bit. Right, add another control point just because. Oops, sorry, I didn't click on it, but you get the idea. But you can see that as I'm making these changes in real time, my quantities are updating. Right, and that's true of everything. So you notice I also have in here, I have the kind of the purple layout, right? So some ceramic tile. All right, so if we decide, right now we've got the ceramic tile in the kitchen, and the homeowner says, hey, let's bring that all the way down into the dining room. So if you see here right now, I've got 319 square feet of ceramic tile. I can just come in and make the changes, right? And I can either change the ones that are already in place, right? And you see that in real time, it's updating the number here in my Excel spreadsheet, right? And that's actually updating the costing all the way across because I've got formulas linked using this cell. Okay, and that's the underlying idea. So what's really nice about this, so you can see it's real easy for us to go in and modify anything that's actually in place. I'm sorry, this shouldn't have been there. There's just a leftover number. So, but one of the other things that's nice about it is that it's actually a very easy thing for you to be able to go in. And if you've gone into a PDF, maybe you've already got a job that you did or somebody else did and they didn't bother to link it to Excel. It's not a problem, right? Here's where I'm going to show you guys the basic underlying structure of how you work with this dynamic linking. So all I want to do here, so you see that all of these orange layouts, these are all my carpeted areas, right? The master bedroom, the great room, all the bedrooms. Those are all going to be carpeted, right? So I want to link that so that I know how much is in there. Right now, it's a completely empty cell. It hasn't been linked, but I've already got drawn areas here inside of Revu. So all I need to do is come over here and you'll notice that I have this concept of quantity link. right? And when you install Bluebeam Extreme, it automatically puts this app inside of your Excel program. You don't have to do anything, okay? That gives you the ability to link to any object that you've created in Bluebeam. And you see it's got the little Bluebeam Revu icon. So I can just come over here, right? And I'm going to delete anything that was in there right now, just to be clear. All right, so I'm going to go to quantity link, and I'm going to create a quantity link. Okay, and you see it brings up a little dialog box here inside of Excel for me, and I say, what total do I want to get? What information am I looking for? And you see I can grab all of the basic geometric measurements, right? Counts, heights, width, volume, areas, whatever it is I'm looking for. Well, in this case, I'm looking for an area, right? I want the area of carpeting. So it's saying, okay, I'm going to total areas for you in this cell, but the area of what? And the great thing here is that I can actually use all of the column structure, right, that I have down here, all right, counts, areas, lengths, volume, subject, labels, whatever columns we can structure and work with inside of Bluebeam Revu. You see that I have those here. I can do it by subject, by label, by color, waste, materials, all these different areas. So I'm going to come in here and say, you know what? I want to go by label. I want to grab carpet type 1, and that's what I labeled all of those. They're all labeled as carpet type 1, just to coincide with a finish schedule. So I say I need the total area of carpet type 1, right? And I could go with additional, right? So I could even start to break this down further. So if I wanted all the carpet type 1 and I had assigned different ones to different colors, I could get all the red ones versus all the orange ones versus all the green ones, right? There's a lot, you can do a top level structure and a lot of lower level structures to kind of really get into a detailed structure and what you're looking for. But I'm going to keep it simple today. So I just want the area of carpet type 1, and I just say okay, and there you go. See, it's 1128 square feet. That's kind of neat. All right, and just like anything else, this is now a dynamic update. So when I come in, right, and if I make changes to that, you can see it's updating the square footage and it's updating the pricing. You see everything is already linked and set and ready to go for me. No concerns, right? Everything's all good. So you see even my pricing over here is updating in real time. So it's a very simple thing to take objects that you've already drawn, right, and go ahead and create those. Now, to show you, I can also come in and I can generate. I'm just going to go back over to my PDF here, right, and I can start to do linear takeoffs as well, right? Whether it's linear counts, whatever I want to do. So, and an important aspect of this is that you can actually correspond and use anything that you've done in your tool chests. All right, so you see here I've got our Zentek Review tool chest. I have our interior finishes, and I just want to do a trim within this particular room, right? I'm just going to put in 1/2 inch or 1.5 inch pine molding, right? So I'm just going to grab that tool, right? And I'm just going to go through and I'm going to throw it across here, and I'm just going to ignore the door there for right now. You all get the idea, wouldn't run it through the doorway, but just to keep it, simple for today, I'm just kind of throwing in some randomized areas here. And we're going to take that trim all the way back to the corner and end it. Okay, and there you go. So you can see that I was able to use my tool chest, right? And you see right here, it says trim type, right, with a question mark, right? So I can go in here and I can change that just using my markups list, right? I can go in and change that trim, right, and say, all right, let's change that from trim type 1, and let's call that 1.5 inch pine. Okay, right, so there you go. So I got that 1.5 inch pine. So now I can just come back over here, and you see I've already got a category already structured. And this is really the good part about this, that if you guys already have a really well-developed Excel spreadsheet that you're using for all your cost estimating purposes, it becomes really simple for you to just go into that and start filling out standardized quantities, right? So I can just come right here and say, okay, I've already got the 1.5 inch pine molding field ready to go. It's just an empty cell right now, but I can just go right to the quantity link and say create, right, the length. I want the total length. I'm doing a linear measurement of 1.5 inch pine. And there you go, 67. Okay, so it's 67 linear feet. Right? And it takes into account, even though you're working in different areas, if I were to do another trim takeoff here, right, I can just go ahead and do another trim finish takeoff, right, and I'm going to do it in this room up here. And again, I'm having a little trouble because I'm zoomed in here so tight I can't really see. Right, so I can just go in and do my linear takeoff. I'm just doing the floorboard, the baseboard running around here, okay, all the way back to the corner. Right? And then just like I did before, so you see they came in with that standard, but I can change that, right, to my 1.5 inch pine, right? And you see it just drops down. I select that. And as soon as I do that, you see I didn't even have to come back and reselect anything because it's sorting by label. By putting the same label on these two different rooms, it's automatically summing and calculating all of my costs for the 1.5 inch pine molding throughout my whole building. Right? And I can do the same for the bullnose and clamshell and whatever else I'm doing. It's all just about labeling these items. Okay, so that's the general idea of the dynamic linking, right? That I can go ahead and link anything that I want. Now, the big key in working with these, two more things that are really important. How does it know to link to this file? Okay, and you'll notice here that I actually have two drawings open. Okay, you'll notice that I also have in here, I have a document called my electrical plan, which has very simple, right? Very simple 5 basic outlets that I put in place here, right? But I can come here and I can continue, maybe, and I will be honest with you, tell you that I put these outlets into this drawing about 6 months ago. This drawing's just been sitting out here for 6 months. I haven't done anything with it, right? But I can come right back in here and I can just resume the count and I can start putting in, you can see over here, it says 120 volt duplex outlets down here under electrical, right? I've got an electrical section, all right? And these do not, by the way, have to be on the same sheet. I could have a concrete sheet, a demolition sheet, an electrical sheet, a finishes sheet, whatever. Right? I can work in multiple tabs within a single Excel worksheet. For simplicity today, I just did it all as one worksheet. But you see right there, I've got 5 duplex outlets. But if I come through and say, okay, you know what? I need one here. I need one here. I need one here. I'm going to put another one over here, right? And then when I'm done entering those, you see that just like that, it updates the count and updates all the cost for the installation of those 120 volt duplex outlets. So you see I'm actually working in 2 completely different plans, but they're still linked to this one Excel spreadsheet. And the way that that works, right, is you notice when you come in here and you go to the quantity linking off the right click, you'll see that you get the ability to attach source files. Okay, and you see here the source files that I have are the A3 floor plan, the A3 electrical plan, which are the 2 drawings that I have open, or the PDFs rather that I have open here. So I can go ahead and I can add individual files. I can add entire folders and subfolders. You can add entire project directories so that it will read all of the modifications, all of the areas, all of the linear structures, anything you're measuring from entire projects into this single Excel spreadsheet. Right? That's immensely powerful. Right? And the great thing about it, if you think about this, I can come in, you see that I can actually remove files so that it'll take out all of the links, change the files, add different files. So the real power here, and it's where I really recommend, and it's something that I work with Zentex clients to really put in place, is that you can take your existing Excel spreadsheet that you've spent years putting together. It's formatted the way you want it. It's broken up in the tabs and the structures and the columns. And maybe you've got some extended tables for costing and H&V lookups. You really did a great job on your Excel spreadsheet. All you need to do is take that spreadsheet and save it as a template file. Just save it as, default takeoff template, okay? And then you just copy that template to every new project, and all you have to do is change the source files from A3 and A3. I could go to a different PDF and bring in an entirely different job. I just delete these 2 and add the ones for my new job, right? And then that way everything will already be pre-linked to the standards that I need. So hopefully you guys understand what I mean. So if I go in and you're working with something like Zentex Review Tools, where, for example, if I were to bring in a ceiling light, right? You say, I'm going to come in here, I'm just going to throw in a couple of ceiling lights wherever I feel like throwing in some ceiling lights. Just going to kind of click all over the place there, right? So these ceiling lights from my tool panel, right, can already have predefined settings. Now ours are pretty generic. They just say, ceiling light fixture type, right? But I can go in there and I can grab now my ceiling light fixture type, and I can call that, just double click in there, and that's fixture type A1, okay? However many there are of those. But I can have that predefined here, right? Maybe those are ceiling lights or manufacturers or items that we use on every single job, right? So I can just call this ceiling fixture type A1. Okay, and maybe I can put a make, a model, a manufacturer, whatever it is. And like anything else, now I can just go to the quantity link in that cell and say, hey, create for me a count of however many ceiling fixture types A1, right? And just say, okay. And just like that, you see it puts in the number, and you notice it will also bring in the units for you, right? So it brings in the number and the unit. And then from there, it's just about doing your formulas for costing and so on. So it's very easy for you to go ahead and take what you've already had, what you spent years developing, you can use as a standard Excel template, right? That you'll be able to use and just copy and save to every single project. And then all you have to do is open it up in the new job, right? And just go to the source files and just remove these two, right? Just highlight those and click remove, and then just go ahead and add the new files from wherever you have them on your new job. All right, and anything that already exists that has the same names will update automatically. And it's very easy then to go in if you're adding new things or one-off things that are project specific, just like I was able to just add these in on the fly. So that's that concept of dynamic quantity linking inside of Excel with the Bluebeam Revu. Right, so it's a really, really powerful tool. I'm a huge fan of it. Right, and what I'm going to do here real quick, I'm just going to jump back over to the there we go, to the PowerPoint here, and just let you guys know that in order to do this dynamic linking, right, you do need to have the Bluebeam Revu Extreme version for 2017. It is not a tool that's available in the standard or in the CAD version. It's only in the Extreme version of 2017. Right? And please keep in mind that Zentek can actually help you guys. If you don't have the Extreme version, you're like, wow, I really want to get that. We can get you guys the upgrades. If you need new seats, we can upgrade you from standard to Extreme, whatever you need. Right? And we always beat going with the Bluebeam direct pricing. So if you guys would like to talk about that, please feel free to reach out to our sales staff, sales@zentekconsultants.net. Right? And other than that, I want to thank you guys for taking the time to join us today. And again, if you have any technical questions, anything else you want to know about that, my email is up here on screen, jamescoppinger@zentekconsultants.net. Please feel free to write that down and reach out to me. Right? And the other thing is that we will probably be sending most of you guys, or actually all you guys, a copy of this video. It'll probably come in an email to you tomorrow. So if you have other folks in your company who think would be interested, or you might want to have them look at this to make that decision as to how important it is to move up to the Extreme version, please feel free to share that around. And again, I just want to thank you guys for taking the time to join us, and I hope everybody has a wonderful day.